Welcome back to the next episode of Meet the Founders. Today I'm joined with Brian's here. Brian Vukelic is here. We're going to have a conversation today. We're going to talk about all things interesting to us about VetCoin. Unfortunately for everybody that's watching this video later on, you missed a really neat discussion about not just cruises and vacations, but whiskeys, which is pretty awesome. One of my favorite subjects to chat about. But we're here to talk about VetCoin, and that's what we're going to do right now. So, Brian, if you would kind of introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you? What do you do? What a little bit about your background, please.
All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's morning here in Tampa. It's a chilly morning in the 50s here for March, which is pretty unusual. But, Brian Vukelic, I'm a father, a husband, a veteran and a Marine of 25 years, getting ready to retire this May as a lieutenant colonel out of Headquarters Special Operations Command, where I'm basically a strategic planner, futures, right strategy. Started my career off 25 years ago, back in 1996, June 21st of 1996. Brian was a junior just out of high school, or after his junior year, signed my contract to go in summer of 97 to Paris Island. That February, my senior year, I got a football scholarship to Tiffin University and said, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to go to the military. I'm going to go to college instead. But then in March of my senior year of high school, I just turned 18 years old. Found out I was going to be a father. All right, big shocker from a guy in a small town. 74 people in my high school class. My dad said, hey, sports is done with, son. It's time to grow up. So went to graduate high school on Friday, left for Paris Island. I think it was on Monday, June 3rd, 1997.
Like 3 days later, Monday?
Yeah, 3 days later, Monday.
Man.
Got back from Paris Island in August as a brand new PFC. And October, my daughter was born, Jacqueline.
Wow.
And at that point, I did switch my contract from active to reserves so I could be there with my daughter.
Yep.
Started going to college, working full time, going to college full time, trying to be a father, learning as an 18-year-old kid, still a kid, having a kid, and as a PFC, and then and having a social life too. So went to college 4 years, progressed to the rank of corporal and NCO. A few years in on my enlisted time, my boss, he kept, I think he was worried that my platoon sergeant, Gunny Sims, I had two phenomenal NCOs, Corporal Swisher and Pierce, that kind of really developed me, who I was as a person, as a leader, an initiative. And they said, hey, you ever think about becoming an officer? I said, no. And then I did. I went to OCS, met my wife, my junior year of college, got married, went to OCS, got commissioned, and became assault amphibian vehicle officer, AAVs in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And from there progressed. So one of the things, is I understand what it's like to be a private, understand what it's like to be a PFC with a kid, being 18 years old.
Yep.
When you think the world's against you, and it's hard, but with hard work, dedication, we'll kind of talk about some of these things, why I believe in VetCoin, and what we're trying to do is how it's kind of progressed me from being that 18-year-old kid, having a kid, and then progressing through hard work, dedication, but having great mentors along the way to make a career.
Yeah, I think that's I have a similar, not with the being a super young dad, not quite out of high school, we part, but like the fact that we run into people early in our careers that can kind of change the trajectory of where we're going just by simply asking, have you thought about doing something? And then now you have to address it. And when other people recognize something in you that you don't recognize in yourself, maybe, like that's all it takes. When I left active duty to go to college, my platoon leader asked me what I was going to do. And I was like, I'm just going to go to college. And he's like, well, have you considered going ROTC or getting a commission and coming back in as a lieutenant? And I was like, no, but I am now. It didn't really work out for me that way, but eventually I did get a commission after doing, 13 years enlisted. So yeah, it's interesting how those things happen. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Every Marine that I know is a great storyteller. And I know that you have a very colorful way of talking about things sometimes and some of your experiences. So if you could share a little story, this is something I do with everybody when we're doing interviews. If you could kind of share a story about your time in uniform that you think would be interesting to the audience.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll go back to, I think all the veterans, I think, can relate to the humor aspects of war, things that happened. So it was 2006. I was in Iraq, had my own AO, hadn't seen my boss in about 3 months, although he called me on the phone, the voice phone a few times a week or day. I thought I'd get fired about every other day. But he said, "Hey, I need you to come up here to the CP." So it was about a 40-minute ride through IED laced territory and everything of that nature. But I had a great team. And, so I got in the vehicle and like the gunny, the team leader, he was taking me where I needed to go. And I just kind of fell asleep in the back and enjoyed the peace and quiet on the way. But I got there and it was nighttime, and it was old air base housing off of Al Assad for the old Iraqi army,
Mm-hmm.
and our CP was actually out in the movie, had an outdoor movie theater like the drive-ins, but
Okay.
the projection house is where the CP was, the battalion CP. Um, it was dark. I mean, it's dark. It was pitch black. Couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And as I'm walking to go to the CP, my boss says, "Hey, watch out!" And I stepped right into this puddle of water. I think it was, but it wasn't. It was the Iraqi cook's bucket of fish heads that I stepped into like knee deep. Right, and then that's how I started off. I get there, then we go inside the CP, and we're doing some things. And I was a brand new promoted captain at the time, and my lieutenants, my buddies, are like, "Hey, we got you a nice place to sleep." And so I actually had a mattress for the first time in like 4 months. It was on top of the cot though. I'm laying there sleeping. I'm looking up, and I can see stars and things. I'm like, "What the heck's going on?" I'm seeing through the ceiling for some reason. Though then we start coming under a rocket attack, but it's red air, which means there's nothing flying. Big sandstorm, so they knew they're firing a Katyusha rockets. And we go to CP and can't get air support. And I look, I had that nice mattress. I look at my boss. I said, "Sir, there's nothing we can do. Can I go back to sleep?" And well, bad. I got yelled at, but honestly, there was nothing you could do. Every 15 minutes, a rocket would hit, and it's either,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? And I was thinking about that mattress. Eventually, rockets ceased. I go to sleep, and then I wake up, and I look up, and there's a cami netting, but I'm in a building, but there's a massive bomb hole through the ceiling of the building, and it's from the ground war. So it's a
Yep.
very interesting night, a lot of events. Got some nice sleep, got rocketed, stepped in a bucket of fish heads. My boots smelled for like the next month. And it's definitely an unforgettable evening for me. It was kind of great and relaxing too. So
That's great. I thought you were going to take this in a different direction about meeting with the commander, being in the talk, and everybody asking what that smell was, and it's in your
oh, that
boots.
was the problem. But everybody's so busy with the rockets coming in. But yeah, it was. It's like,
Yep.
what do you do?
That's awesome. Oh man. So I'm going to put you on the spot again. So you shared that story for a reason. Maybe it was just to be funny, but why is that the story you want to share with folks?
So I think you have to, in times of distress, or times when hardship and you think you're down and things can't get any worse. They always could, but you got to try to find the positive and the good things. Stay positive, and there can always be a different ending. You kind of control your emotions and things, And for me, okay, I stepped in the thing of fish heads. What am I going to do about it? It's already done.
Yeah.
I'm getting rocketed. And, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's either going to hit us or it's not going to hit us.
Yeah.
And I thought about the good things. Hey, I got a mattress to sleep on tonight. It's been months. And actually, the next morning there was hot water to shave with, so I was the first in a few months because it was wintertime, which does get cold in Iraq. So I think it's just saying, it's character of people. A lot of times people think they're down and out, but it could always be worse.
Yep.
It's about how you deal with adversity and stay positive. From the time I was 18-year-old to private, PFC with a kid, to trying to go to school, to trying to work, to try to get an education, to try to, life's tough, but,
Yeah,
but
it's
if you
hard.
have a support network, and I had great NCOs, I had other people, lieutenants hooking me up with a mattress, it makes it a lot easier. And that's one of the things I believe with VetCoin is we're trying to be that support network to make it, to help people make it, but they got to help themselves also.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, it can always be worse. I've been saying this since I was a young sergeant in the Ranger Battalion. I'd be like, my guys would be like, man, this is, just chatting in the patrol base or whatever, and you can see you guys down. I would get up to them in the prone because we're always laying behind our rucksacks in the patrol base, and I'd come up to him like, "Hey, this sucks, doesn't it?" And the guy would look at me and you just kind of like, "Yes, Sergeant." I was like, "Well, it's a good thing we don't get paid much." And then I would crawl away and just leave him look at me like, "What is this guy doing?" But it's humor, right? Like it's silly
Yeah.
things like that that kind of boost you up. And now, okay, it sucks, but it sucks for everybody.
Yep.
So maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, or at least we're in it together, kind of
Absolutely.
thing. And speaking of like in it together kind of theme, like I know you support multiple veterans organizations, and I know you're active in the local community. Can you kind of talk about the different service organizations you support, maybe a little bit about why and what they do?
Yeah. So I'm a life member of the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Um, that's one of the one of the largest veterans organizations out there, advocacy for veterans issues, but as well as for help. And I'm also a member of the American Legion. Um, one of the things that's great is it provides that selfless service back. And I'll talk probably a little bit about that later while I'm doing VetCoin, but it's setting up. One of the things the VFW post out at Josh Tree, California, and that I was a vice commander at was we bring in dentists, medical, all kind of different help. But as well as it's from as originally founded is for that camaraderie. So after World War II and some of these things, when veterans came back, it was a place for them to go and be with like-minded people that have like-minded experiences, and with no worries. I say it's one of the safest places you can be, for you and your fellow veterans. It's just around people that have dealt with the same issues, problems, adversities. So it's kind of like a home away from home.
Yeah.
But as well as it's giving back. So they're trying to help each other and help the other veterans.
Yeah, giving back is a really big theme. Excuse me, when with the other founders that I've had an opportunity to talk to about this, and I know that when the idea was kind of formulated, I mean that was a cornerstone idea. Why even bother doing VetCoin? Well, because we want to give back to the community. It's a community that we're all in, and it's important and it's valuable, and it shouldn't be neglected.
Absolutely.
And I know that several of us are also like yourself involved in other projects. So there's plenty of ways to do this. The important thing I think is that we just do it.
Yeah.
Everybody has a capacity to support their friends and their brothers and sisters in arms, so we should just do it, right? Like it's obvious to me, but
Yeah, that's a great point, Rod. And it's like you said earlier, right? We don't do it for the pay. We don't do it for the I would say it's obviously detrimental to your health being 20 doing this, what we do and other things. But what we do it is for our fellow brothers, sisters, the woman or the man on the left or right. That's what you truly fight for. Obviously for our country, but when it comes down to it, and it's selfless service. We've all, I think, we joined for a higher purpose, right? Our country, our family. I mean, I'd rather go away any day of the week overseas than have my mom, dad, sister, wife, and things of that nature. I'd rather go away than have those issues. But at the same time, it's even out of uniform, this is a way to continue to serve the public, to serve your fellow veterans, to serve their families.
mm-hmm.
Through your veterans service organizations, whether it's American Legion, whether it's the VFW, whether it's the sons of those different organizations, or if you've never been in the military, you want to be an auxiliary member, or as we're doing through VetCoin, it's a way to continue to serve selflessly for the higher purpose to help other people. Just be a good person.
And then the other thing that I think is really cool is the relationships that you can build with folks that you ordinarily maybe wouldn't have. I mean,
Absolutely.
just you and I as an example, um, like we work on separate ends of a very, very large built room within the headquarters. And even though we work in the same directorate, we don't necessarily work together. So if it wasn't for VetCoin, we wouldn't have
Yeah.
a friendship right now. You'd just
No.
be that Marine over there that, he's going through his retirement, but he doesn't really work with me directly on projects. But now we do. So it's been, and it's fantastic. And I feel lucky to have this relationship now,
Absolutely.
because it's benefited me. And, you're, for those that don't know Brian, he's a tenacious and highly motivated marketing oriented individual, I'll say. Like when we were having our conversation about the cruise, it was all about how we could have, or how you could have made VetCoin more, well known than just the folks you had a chance to talk to. I mean, always seeing that opportunity and always pushing for the next opportunity, I think that's an intangible quality that you bring to the team that I know makes me work harder.
Yeah.
Just by being with other people that work hard, like yourself and Aaron. So I think it's, we get that momentum going as a group, and like,
Yep.
there's nothing but, clear skies ahead, as they would
Oh
say.
yeah. I think of our VetCoin team, the 10 of us, it's like combined arms, right? You're combined arms for direct fire, indirect fire. You put the enemy in the horns of dilemma through complementary effects to achieve your desired end state. And that's what we do. The team of teams that we have for VetCoin, we all bring a certain skill set or different attributes to the organization that complements each other, but continue to move the ball forward to achieve its end state or the goal and mission. So I think that is a great thing. I'm going through a transition program right now. I'm going through SOTF, Special Operators Transition Foundation, another great vet nonprofit to support. And one of those kind of things was come up with your anthem or your couple words, your tagline. And for me, it was, we came up with, after doing all these psychological personality tests, was bold, inclusive, and influential in influence, which I think
Yeah,
really
that's you.
character.
That's you.
It's been good. It's been good, but we definitely have a great team of teams. And it's a privilege to serve in another capacity with all you guys.
I tell you what, one thing that's funny, and I don't know if this will resonate with anybody else, but it's just you and I having a chat, and I'm thinking of things like just today. I reached out to connect with somebody on LinkedIn through another person that I connected to, and we had this little like three-person, very short discussion. But one of the first things the guy says is, "Hey, I know Brian from when we served together in the Marine Corps." I'm like, okay, this is like the third person I've run into at a networking function or a veteran function that I'm meeting for the first time, and they already know you. so, so like, so, so you're the undeclared mayor of South Tampa, I think,
Yeah.
or something. Everybody, and I know the Marine Corps is small, and they all
Yeah.
happen to be in the Marine Corps, but it's interesting, when you talk to folks, how many, like how big their potential network is just through folks that they served with in different
Oh
places.
yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, you remember, top third, bottom third, and kind of middle people get kind of lost. I'm not sure where I fall in. Um, I'm not always, as a former NCO, as a lieutenant, I was told I didn't need to work on my tact and different aspects, but I'm an NCO at heart.
Yeah,
Getting my
I know
blood stress
exactly how that feels.
is
Yep.
a huge, huge thing. I'm gonna tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. And yeah, I'm definitely mission first. Troops always, but
Yeah. So let's get back to the VetCoin Foundation and the project that we're working on, and the
yeah.
whole genesis behind what we're doing. When you think about what VetCoin is doing and where it's going, and the different opportunities that it may create, what what are you excited about the most with the future in VetCoin?
Um, as we talk about our kind of our tagline, connect, enable, and transform, that's what excites me is the ability to potentially connect veterans, connect veteran businesses, um, you know, enable them through giving them, our free marketing, our Vetiverse, other aspects, but just to continue to enable success for them, right? That's that selfless service to help them out. But then, is the transform is to help change some, different veterans' lives. We're now through our small business initiative startup challenge, veterans are able to submit their startup ideas, and we're giving, a grant, $5,000 grant out to them. That can transform all different aspects. So I think as we grow into the future, we'll be able to continue to continue to impact more and more people and make a difference. Whether through our organization, collaboration with other organizations. That's what excites me is the growth. But with growth means to be able to connect, enable, and transition a larger community. So
yeah. So that's a really good point. And I've asked a couple folks this, and I know where I fall on the spectrum of, 12 months ago, before VetCoin was even mentioned out loud, to now, right? That's a journey that we've all experienced on the board. But kind of, if you could, because I think a lot of people look at the cryptocurrency environment and it's complex. Maybe it's confusing to them. Maybe they don't understand it, but kind of talk a little bit about what your knowledge base was before we started the VetCoin Foundation compared to what your knowledge base is now. Because I suspect it's grown.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had, last summer when, I really kind of heard, we've all heard about crypto and different things in the news or on TV. And then when guys talk about investing or things, and I had really no understanding whatsoever. I mean, it's kind of like my father. He don't even know how to turn a computer on. He don't use it. But then as we started, understanding crypto is just a part of the blockchain. It's just one aspect of it's one small slip, one piece of one piece of pizza out of a giant pie of what it is. And it's really no different than if you look at cryptocurrency and all the different types, right? It's an investment, future speculation of worth based on today's value, based future values and things of that nature. But it's also a transaction, a form of transaction, and it's changing all over the world. As we look at years ago, hundreds of years ago, people were trading buttons. They were trading, for money. They were trading different types of stones. It was really, it could be any object that people place worth on. And now heck, very similar to credit cards, right? I mean, you're swiping something, right? It has value, whatever the max limit is on it. It's through the computer, 100% automated, online. I mean, it's very similar.
Yep.
And there's a transaction fee that comes with it, right? So with cryptocurrency, there is a transaction fee, but it's called a gas fee. It's different. But now, as we look to work with veteran businesses to utilize this as a form of currency, instead of paying that transaction fee back to big business, MasterCard, Visa, things, all those different type of companies, this transaction fee goes back into our organization to help veterans, into the nonprofit. So it's huge. I mean, it's we're a part of, some people talk revolution, some people talk evolution within the financial or currencies, of the world. I think we're there. I did a similar transition recently. I just went from a Windows base to a Mac. So for those who've done, that is a massive transformation, but I love it. My Mac's one of the best purchases I have made, and it's a phenomenal computer. And I wish I would have done years ago. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to be the same type of transition they're seeing around the world and different things. And it's definitely mainstream with my daughter's 24 and her generation. They're very comfortable. An NFT, I had no idea what it was, but it's this new form of art. Just as we sold, paintings in the past, people are selling different pictures.
Yeah.
And I continue to learn every day, right? The more you learn, the more you realize what you don't know. So it's shocking. But it's also interesting and fascinating to learn about the way of the future.
then and I think that's an important concept to think about is as you learn, you realize there's more to learn. And that's one thing that's really been intriguing to me about this effort is not unlike yourself. 12 months ago, cryptocurrency, not really anything I thought about. Like I knew it existed, but I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know really what it was or what it could do. But now it's like, oh my gosh, this is an empowering, idea, and just harnessing the blockchain, as Aaron would say, to improve veterans' lives. Like that's when we get down to it, to me at least, I think that's a big piece of this. So with your experience with the VFW and the Legion, and now with VetCoin and your journey of learning through cryptocurrencies and NFTs and the like, how do you see, not necessarily VetCoin specifically, although I think we do have a direct way to help those organizations, but how do you see those organizations perhaps benefiting from, well, yeah, VetCoin or another cryptocurrency? Like what's in it for them, if you will?
Yeah, I think what's in it for them is well, I think first, right, there's some differences between what our VetCoin organization is and say the Legion or VFWs. Those are service organizations that are there for veterans, right? They connect veterans absolutely through a place,
Yep.
And they help provide services to them. But they don't, where VetCoin's different is we're working at the enable and transformation. And I said, and I talked about through our small business thing is enabling future growth, prosperity, changing and transitioning lives. So that's kind of the difference I think about. But how can we combine to complement each other, all right? And help is like I talked about is through, our VetCoin and VetCash. Where first you're investing in an organization that gives back to, the same type of organizations and people. Unlike all the other cryptocurrencies and different things out there that are, crazy names and make believes, right? That money's going straight into somebody's pocket. This is what's going into our nonprofit to go back to our veterans. So I think that's right. You're investing in yourself, your organization, your future, but as you adjacent all your fellow veterans or servicemen and their families. Second is, with these businesses, they use different financial instruments and forms of payment. Like I talked about earlier, using credit cards, other things. And they're paying service fees to big business, big corporate America, right? Nothing's free in life. We know that. Everything comes with a small charge or a fee or things of that nature. Although we are giving free airdrops to sign up.
Yes, we are.
And as I say, not to what's the fee on that? You're getting a free, but we're asking you to share on your Instagram, on your Facebook, your different things, right? So that's kind of the fee, per se, right? It's help us help you to help those who need the most help. But you are getting free coin drops. But these organizations, if they decide to start utilizing the VetCoin or VetCash in the future for transactions, that service fee goes directly, back in our nonprofit and other things to help, the different breakdown percentages. Obviously, we had administrative costs, things of that nature, and but that helps, them to give back to the veterans, to help the organizations to build it up and things of that nature. So I see it really being a big part of that as we transform into the future. Hopefully that, obviously you can tell us none of this is scripted. We're just talking back and forth, and but it's meant to be that way. So it's genuine, and we're,
right.
It's coming from.
You're not the first person to bring this concept up, and every time it comes up, I want to reinforce it because we were very deliberate when we created this to do the nonprofit first and to establish, ourselves as being part of this initiative. I mean, we're real people. We're on the website. If you look at the team, it's all there. We're very open. We're very clear, and we're very honest. Our integrity is there for everyone to see. And we made that decision, we're not going to profit off of this. Like, we don't get paid if people use VetCoin. I mean, sure, we own VetCoin, so we have the same, utility of that as anybody else.
Yeah.
But like when people, like you were saying, the transaction, there's a burn, there's a piece for liquidity, there's the piece for, that we can use to keep the organization running.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the nonprofits.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't see a dime from any VetCoin transaction, and I never will. And neither will you or any of the other founders.
Yeah, we put a tremendous amount of time in this. We meet twice a week for hours. My wife feels like the meetings every day.
We don't get paid.
I know. My alarm goes off on my phone. I run out here. I'm in my office, which is a enclosed garage area that I've kind of transformed here, and it's always on my mind 24/7 thinking about coin. But it's that the work we're putting in, the groundwork, the grunt work to hopefully continue success to help people, because we believe in it, and it's that passion, and it's another cause. Is I'm getting ready to retire. It's how do I continue to serve, and this is the next capacity and kind of way forward for me, and I think for a lot of the founders.
So I want to thank you for your time today to have this conversation, on the record, if you will. But before we close it out, I want to give you an opportunity, kind of like an open mic, now that we're kind of through the conversation. But you've learned a lot. You've met a lot of people. You've had thousands of opportunities to talk about VetCoin. What's like the one thing that you would like to share with folks, whether it's the question you get the most or the concept that people really, that hook that gets people really interested in VetCoin? Like what's the one thing you'd like to leave with the audience?
Man, put me on the spot. I think the one thing to leave with the audience is, for those that have served, for those who haven't served, those had family members that have, or they just want to give back, right? We have, as humans, as great as Americans, we our basic morals, ethics, and kind of who we are. We want to help, and help people, and this is a way for you to get involved, right? You don't have to serve. You can provide donation. You can buy coin. You can do other things. But it's a way to give back and help. Our country's been amazing over the past, since my time in service. I mean, things have really changed. I came in, I said, signed in 96, went in 97, peacetime. But the last 20 years of war, the country's been really behind us. It wasn't always that way for veterans. Our Vietnam veterans came back, they didn't have them warm welcomes. They didn't have the people behind them, other things. And I hate to say it, but Americans, we get distracted very quickly. Our sense of time, we want everything. And I, as now we're out of Afghanistan, Iraq, and some other things, is I hope the American public and other people don't forget about the men and women have sacrificed, but as well as their families, right? They serve too. So continue to support, get involved. Never forget, don't leave anybody behind. And, this is a way to keep, our country and our veterans in a great place.
No, that's a great, message to leave folks with. It's not exclusive. Anything that we're doing isn't exclusive. It's decentralized. It's inclusive. Anybody can participate. We just try to make it friendly for the folks that we know and we understand in our communities.
Yeah, that's, and you said it, everybody can participate. I've had people say, well, I'm not a vet.
Yep.
Hey, absolutely. It's 100% open, 100%. We don't turn anybody away. It's almost like the recruiter's office. We're not really going to turn anybody away. Come on in, we'll get a waiver for you somewhere. But yeah, it's inclusive. It's a way for everybody to serve, get the word out.
Yeah.
Help us to help those who need the most help. And,
yep. So with that, we'll call it a day. For those that are watching, if you want more information about VetCoin, what we're doing, you can zoom in on Brian's shirt. We got our website on there, vetcoinhq.com. And that's the entry point. So you want to see the Vetiverse, you want to link up with a veterans organization, veteran-owned business, or nonprofits. It's all there. It's all on the website. We're on the website. Our information is on the website. Go check it out. You can link into our LinkedIn. You can link into our Facebook accounts, Telegram, Discord, all through the website. So with that, Thank you for watching another episode of Meet the Founders. And Brian, thank you for taking time out of your day to chat with me about all great things.
Hey, thank you.
All right.